Introduction. Welcome to launch training. In this training, we'll be teaching you basic communications with launchers, how and when to use any type of launcher, and the basic tactics and movements used against enemy armor. The type of launchers you use will vary, and being able to understand what they are capable of is important to being effective as possible with your asset. The goal of the training tonight is for you to come out with the knowledge and materials you need to so you can learn to properly use launchers in an effective way in missions to help your section and platoon complete your overall objectives. So just a bit of basic what tonight's about, just making better launchers and giving the know-how to use them correctly in the future. So to start off with, the flagpole behind you, there should be a launch range or range option. If you go through to that, I'll meet you over there. It might actually not. It might
It's
be
got
one of the flag
marksman
ones.
range.
It might be one of the flags over
Let me
here.
just do a teleport poll. I remember I had to do this and I
It's
being
one
lazy.
here.
Thank you. Everyone else is
This one.
I forgot that the ones are so far away. I usually put down one myself. Okay. So first things first. Let me come out of this and talk to you guys directly. So first thing we'll talk about tonight is launcher and vehicle types. We'll go over these categories, so we're able to put individual launchers and vehicles into the separate info and brackets and make you be able to understand them. We use these categories to simplify what your launcher and enemy vehicle are called, so that anyone is able to know what each category is capable of, even if they don't know the actual launcher or vehicle's name. You'll have heard this quite frequently during missions, MAT, HATs, LAT, and medium vehicle, heavy vehicle, that sort of thing. We'll firstly go over the different launcher types, then the different vehicle types, and then discuss how they work against each other. So I'll just pull myself over here so I can demonstrate. And go into this view. Just go to my loadout to help me. So first thing is in launchers is a LAT. A LAT is defined as light anti-tank. These are generally LAWs or M136s, your RPG 26s as well. Basically, any small disposal one-shot systems. These are usually useful against medium armor threats in perfect conditions, very useful against light armor or technicals, things like that. But basically, anything that's a one-shot disposable will be classified as a LAT, which is your section level asset. The next one is your MATs or medium anti-armor or anti-tank, sorry. These are larger than LAT and are generally or most of the time reusable weapons. So you've got reloadable ammo for as well. This includes but is not limited to the Carl Gustav, small, RPG 7, RPG 42, those type of things. So all these different ones. One thing to note, NLAW, it can be a LAT and a MAT. We classify it as a LAT just for the fact it's a light anti-tank. It's a single shot weapon, but it's as effective as a MAT weapon system would be. But let's call this thing a LAT, and no one will really care about it. But it is pretty effective if you did need to use it. MAT weapons are generally effective in destroying medium tracked vehicles, but can disable or destroy heavy vehicles with correct shot placement, but isn't a reliable method. And then our last one is the HATs, heavy anti-tank. Are the most destructive anti-tank devices. This is balanced out by the heavy weight. Systems under HAT are generally guided launcher systems, such as a lock-on or a wire-guided system, which we'll discuss later. HAT weapons will 90% of the time destroy or disable any vehicle targeted. They are one of the most effective weapon systems an infantry unit can use against tanks to destroy them. Most of the time, this also includes hats being a platoon level asset as well. So it's not a section level, it's a platoon. Mat can be interchangeable in that classification a bit as well. One thing I didn't mention aside as well, if you have any questions during that, feel free to ask me. Just trying to interject like while I'm talking, but it feels like I'm just ending a subject or breaking for questions, feel free to ask me anything you like. Generally, we'll probably go over your questions in a later subject, but if you have a question, let me know and I'll help you out. Okay, that's it for the launch types. Now we'll go over and talk about our vehicle categories. Um, Vehicle categories, they break down to two different characteristics. The first characteristic is how heavy the armor of the vehicle is and whether the vehicle is wheeled or track propelled. So whether it's a wheel base or a track base, we use that. So if everyone comes around, follows me, over this yonder, we have a wonderful array of all the different vehicle classifications you'll probably find in the wild. Let me just scroll down so I can see what I'm talking about. The first one is technical. This is different than the classification, the medium and trackman, whatever, but it's a thing that's commonly called out, and it's a good way just to classify something. Technicals are classified mostly for vehicles that have no armor. They're weak against anything, including small arms. So things like your gas over there, your truck there, any type of civilian vehicle, basically, just anything that doesn't have armor is not an unarmored vehicle. That's very susceptible to small arms fire. That stuff we generally classify as technical, so it's easy to understand that when it's called out. The second classification is light. Light vehicles have enough armor to stop small arms fire and small explosions, such as MRAPs or gases. So these sort of things here. So well, we've got these two lined up here. They're classified as light. These are usually weak against any type of launcher though as well. So these will stop small arms fire up to 7.62. 50 cal will still go through it, sort of thing, but it will be safe enough to protect your infantry unit if you get shot at. You don't have to bail out straight away. Third classification is a medium. Medium vehicles are more armored and fit into something such as an IFE or APC classification. These vehicles have enough armor that your light to medium anti-tank weapons won't always be an effective kill, if they're not used correctly. So vehicles that are in this classification are things like BTRs, M136s, ASLAVs, Bradleys, BMPs, all that sort of stuff. Something that's not yet a tank, but is beefy enough that will stop most things hitting it and be able to walk through it. One note actually about that is the BRDM sitting here. This is one of the different vehicles that are in between categories. Um, you can easily classify this little guy as a light or a medium in whichever definition you want to go by. One thing we always say is if you're unsure of what category it fits into, always overestimate your guess. So if you look at that thing and go, I don't know if that's light or medium, just go medium. It's always better to over classify something and over eliminate the threat than try and under eliminate the threat, because that generally leads to the wrong asset being assigned to something to eliminate it. Say you see a tank over there, you say that's a medium armor threat. Uh, if we try and just use our lats against it, it's going to be a harder problem than actually assigning something that could kill it. So if you're ever unsure about something when you're thinking about it, just estimate it and err on the side of caution in this type of thing, but in most things as well. Last one is our heavy vehicles over this yonder. Heavy vehicles, these are generally your main battle tanks. They are armored enough that your mats won't do much at all to them unless in very favorable circumstances. Even HAP isn't always a certain kill depending on the circumstances. So things like a T-72 here, Abrams, the Merkava, anything that's, if someone calls tank, it's usually heavy vehicle, but try and just call it a heavy sort of thing or anything like that. Any questions about those? Cool. The last one on vehicle classifications was if it's tracked or wheeled vehicle. It's pretty obvious. You look at the base of it, if it's got wheels or if it's got tracks. That's what we go by. So if we're looking at this guy here, the BMP, that's a medium tracked vehicle. Whereas the BMP here, or sorry, the BTR here, this is a medium wheeled vehicle. So that's how you call something out, medium tracked, medium wheeled sort of thing. That's just to basically simplify everything down into categories of what type of threat it's got to be, and you call a medium tracked, you get a general idea there's probably a BMP or a Bradley or something, or if it's a medium wheeled, it's probably a BTR or a BRDM, something like that. One thing to note is, actually I don't know what I was about to say there. I'll have to think about that. Any questions again on that? Wow, you guys are really talkative. I love it. So that's it for those classifications for your anti-tank and your vehicles. What we're going to do now is do a quick sort of practice of using our lat sticks. We've got excellent range out here with a very different variety of all the different vehicles and what we've been talking about. So if you walk up to this arsenal here, feel free to grab any of the ones listed there. N-Law is a point and click one, so try and use one of the others. They're a bit more fun to aim and adjust. Just line up in the sandbag barriers and just start shooting off a couple of rounds and have a bit of fun with it. Try to take out some vehicles.
Question?
Yes?
I've been told by a few people that the N-Law actually has a separate fire mode where it will like lead a target or it'll do top down. Is that an in-game thing that's model or is it just an IRL thing?
It is. You are able to do the lead of it. I can show you if you'd like, but it's not always that useful. What it can do is if you hold down the tab key and like if you track a target, hold down your tab key, it'll actually continue that track as long as you have the tab key held down, and then it'll follow that flight path. There's meant to be a top-down attack. I actually can't remember how you utilize that, but it's a useful enough asset that if you hit something, it's got to die anyway. So
yeah, I was just curious because it's something I've heard a few people say and I've never figured out how to do it.
Well, your backblast is not clear.
Yeah, so you can have a try with the Lord and use that track if you want. But just take any of them, start shooting at vehicles, and we'll go on to the next thing in a second.
Thank you.
Your backblast.
Free tip for hitting
Yeah, backblast.
heavily armored vehicles.
Backblast clear.
And your
Clear back. Damn, that was
Clear backblast.
horrid.
Back on heavy vehicles and front of lighter vehicles.
Yeah,
Clear.
we'll be talking about that later.
Yeah.
What's this? Close. Episode.
Not clear. Clear.
Lay back. Nice.
lats, and then we'll be going into talking about something else. Also,
back.
only lat 6, guys. Don't be playing around.
Interesting.
Good lord.
What are you guys blowing up around here?
One about 700 meters away, east southeast 105.
Apparently, copy and pasting some of these vehicles are giving me AI. That's not a good thing.
Do you have it setting ticked?
No, I think whoever made this mission had AI in the vehicles they placed down and then deleted them manually or something, because it was only on
That
the ones I
would
didn't
not
place.
surprise me.
It's so hard judging distance and armor.
Lucius has just joined us, so I'll just wait until he's here. If you're here already, Lucius, let me know.
Yeah, he's here.
I don't see him at spawn, so I assume he's over here.
He's right here.
Cool.
Hello, Lucius.
Clear.
Team will get hurt.
Nah, we're fine.
Good work, everyone. Gather around more or less from my voice because we'll go to the next thing now. Next topic we'll be going into is communication. Also, Lucius, what you've missed so far is just we've gone over different types of different types of anti-tank classifications and vehicle classifications. So you haven't missed too much.
Cool.
If you've already heard the mission, you'd probably understand what's already been said. Or the medium, heavy, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Communication. As touched on with the importance of knowing types of launches and vehicles, being able to communicate that to other players is important to know. Communication is key to any role that you use. Being able to correctly convey what you see to your leader is important, so they are able to make the correct decisions and with the correct and relevant information. This isn't just in when you're using a launcher, this is in everything as well. Wrong information given to leaders can easily lead to incorrect use of assets, whether this is an over or under reaction to the actual threat, or worst case, no action at all. When you see a vehicle threat, you call it over the radio the same way we do with other contact calls you may make. When seeing a vehicle contact, you need to remember to give these information points. First one is direction, if it's east, west, south, north. Your distance, 100 meters, 200 meters away, 300 meters away. Movement, movement where it's going is very important for vehicles because the fast mobile sort of things, they can get away from you quite quickly. So which way it's moving is very important. And the type of vehicle, as we talked about before, if it's a medium wheeled vehicle, if it's a heavy tracked vehicle, that type of thing. So contact call, as I said in that, I'll give a quick contact call for you guys just to sort of tell you what it's about. So say that that BMP over to the left there, the medium tracked vehicle. If I was to give a contact call for that, contact east northeast, 50 meters, medium tracked vehicle stationary. The order you put the information is not always too important, but I would always suggest to put the direction and then the distance in your contact call as your first two things. What that does is it gives people a where they should be looking, how far they should be looking, and what they should be looking for, instead of them receiving the information backwards, where they have to remember what you've already said when they're trying to target that contact you've just called out. So east northeast 50 meters, medium track vehicle stationary. You are able to follow that explicitly, and you understand it's that vehicle there that is sitting there. Everyone understands that? Good. Because I'm going to be having everyone give a contact call. I want you guys to pick something out in the open. Give me a contact call over the radio, over the short range, utilizing what we've just said, and make sure you're concise but effective with your communication. So we'll go top down. So Albert, you'll be first.
Any vehicle, really?
Any vehicle you'd like, just start shouting it out over the radio as you would any contact call. Feel free to take a second if you do. It's better to give the information correctly and efficiently than garbled and eventually, basically.
All right. Actually, question. If
Yep.
is it better to say what like the name of the vehicle it is, or say
Not
heavy truck?
no, just say medium, heavy, that sort of thing. What that does is it simplifies it down so anyone can understand it. If you don't know vehicle classifications, or if you don't know different types of vehicles as a new player, it's really hard to understand what people are saying, and people still get things like BTR and BMP turned around in their heads. And if you call out something like that incorrectly, a BTR
Ooh, yeah.
threat is significantly different than a BMP threat, 9 times out
Yeah,
of 10.
fair enough.
So yeah, you want to just generally call out the basic, medium, the heaviness of it, and the propelled, how it's propelled. That gives the correct information efficiently. If they need they need something further, you can say something like autocannon vehicle, or you can say anti-air vehicle, um, something like that. But only give that information if it changes the nature of the threat, really.
The other thing about that is if you call out a threat that's, for example, if they're looking for the BMP when it's actually a BTR, they're going to be looking for the BMP first,
I've had
which
that
they won't be able
happen.
to find.
Yeah, I've had that happen so much in missions. It's not funny, and it's always the veterans who get it wrong because they are comfortable calling it as that type of vehicle, and everyone can be wrong at some point. So it's much easier to just simplify it down than to try and overcomplicate things.
One thing I will say is don't be afraid to call a tank, because if people are listening across the radio, they might be half listening, but if they'll like hear identify tank east, a lot of people will just lock in from
Yeah.
that because they'll know that is a threat.
Yeah,
They're gonna find that more of
yeah.
a threat than heavy tracked.
Yeah, as I said before, with heavy vehicles, basically always tanks. So interchangeable terminology for tank or MBT, but simplify. It's heavy tracked, but you can call it tank. No one's got to
We don't
complain
have
to
any
you.
recovery vehicles, do we, in the mod set?
No, not really.
That's the only other heavy track
None
I can
that
think
get
of.
used, or none that something you're
No,
worried
we
about when you
don't.
see it.
Those are the only
I've
ones
never
that would
seen one.
also be considered heavy tracked that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Albert, let's get your contact call.
Contact east 200 meters. Sorry, 250 meters. Heavy truck vehicle. Stationary.
Yep, perfect. Good work. Whoever's next on the list, because I'm looking at the moment.
Vehicle contact, east southeast, 150, identified, heavy track.
Don't have to be so panicked about your voice, God. Good work. Next person. Clem.
Oh, okay, my
Yep,
bad.
you'll go.
Enemy medium armored vehicle spotted, direct front, east, southeast, about 100 meters.
Yep. Good. But as I said, try and give that direction and then distance first.
Yep.
That's best way to do it, because if you need to call out a vehicle threat and everyone get down, you can call that first, and then you can give your contact call sort of thing. But try and just give that information first to simplify people finding it.
Yep.
Huey.
East northeast, 250 meters, heavy truck vehicle stationary.
Yep, cool. That's 250 meters, but close enough.
I'm not that good at judging distance.
um, actually, that's the other thing. It's a very open field here, but if you are able to add color to where the vehicle is, say for let me mark it. Say for the blue smoke out there, to the east southeast, you can call that technical. You finish a contact call, you can say next to the power line, or next to the buoy smoke, or mark the buoy smoke, something like that. If there's something that can better ascertain the position for people who aren't able to find it, say it's on the tree line, say it's on the road, that is a good, or that's also a good thing to add on to the communication, as long as it's still in that concise nature. You're not waffling on to try and tell everyone exactly how it's been birthed and where it's been from its entire life. Okay. King, you're next.
East southeast, 1.2 kilometers, light tracked inside the building, stationary.
Oh, you found him, eh? Little
Hey,
bugger.
good spot.
I assume someone will find it. Lemonade next.
East northeast, 200 meters, medium tracked.
I'll assume there's one out. Are you talking about the Bradley?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, the very left-hand side one. Yep, that's fine. Lucidius.
Why am I
Lucius,
so
sorry.
heavy?
Why did I add a D there? You probably pressed right click to accident, that walks you. When you have a gun out.
Okay. Do I? Shit.
uh, Whenever you're ready.
East southeast, near heavy vehicle. Oh, what am I forgetting? A whole bunch of things.
If it's stationary or moving.
Oh, stationary.
Oh, I forgot something.
Yep, that's fine. Also, just general etiquette as well. Always preface your calls as contact first, because that just tells everyone exactly what's going on, rather than you just calling a direction
Alright,
randomly. Blue.
Enemy armor south-southeast, MBT, 150 meters.
Yep, that's good as well. Different type of contact call, but still gives you the right information. And last one, Reaper.
Southeast, 150 meters, APC behind power line.
Yeah, that's right. Don't have to call APC, just say medium, medium tracks. Gives the same sort of thing. Hearing that tracked or wheeled is a big difference as well. That's why we do include it. It only really applies to vehicles in the medium category, but it does break down that medium category into two different distinct type of things usually. So, but otherwise, that's all good. Anyone have any questions or would like to have a go at another one? Cool. Real quick, I'll just give a quick example of what you're saying when there's a mobile vehicle. I'll have my friendly beggar start driving his new tanky stole. If he wants to drive, my God, what are you doing?
I'm gonna run over and hop in and start driving it, or
He's fine. I'll just spawn something different in. Yeah, we use a van. There he goes. Contact east southeast, 100 meters, light wheeled, moving north. Can probably call that technical anyway, but same sort of thing. But you're just saying the direction it's moving. Give the where it is, and then where it's going. You can, as it's moving as well, you can add more. So like it's moved from that east southeast to northeast. You could say, oh, it's now northeast, moving north. If you need to update where it's going, if it's moved significantly, you say that sort of thing. Also, if it's moving, generally vehicles are moving on a road, you can also add the color of it's on the road. So say you look south, you call a contact, you call a vehicle south of us 200 meters moving north, you can also just say moving on the road towards us. Same sort of thing. Also adds the urgency of it's moving towards us, oh fuck. Any questions from anything communication-wise or contact calls or anything like that? Lovely. Okay. Now we're going to talk about a very lethal subject, backblast. So everyone follow me over here. I've got my excellent state-of-the-art visual aid over here. And I'll quickly talk about backblast. Once I scroll back up to where I was looking. Probably shouldn't have alt-tabbed while I didn't have my escape menu on. I could have shot everyone there. Okay, backblast. Whenever you fire a launcher, you create something called backblast. This backblast is a large amount of pressure expelled out the back of your launcher. Anyone standing behind you in a roughly 90-degree cone from the rear of your launcher will take damage from this. As signified by these sandbags, if I was facing towards you guys here, and that's roughly my 90 degree,
Stand behind.
anyone there is in the backblast area. I'll show you in a sec. How much of this area is backblastable depends on what was fired. Bigger the thing, more backblast. Smaller the thing, less backblast. But anyone behind you, regardless of that, is going to be damaged by what that backblast is. And you hate to damage people. You waste the medical. At least I hope you don't waste. You don't like wasting medical. It's an annoyance to everyone, so try not to do it. Because of backblast and the fact that you launch it is a sections or platoons asset, when we have a firing procedure that we go through anytime you're firing a launcher. How much you need to follow is sometimes dependent on the situation, but this is a basic procedure so you don't damage anyone, so your lead knows what's happening. I read ahead there, but basically what these guys are going to show is where the backblast area is. Have fun, guys. I assume that probably only got Albert, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, it bruised you.
Yeah.
Let me get something better. The small is amazing for this because I remember this thing being an absolute dick for backblast.
This was like 30 meters effective black blast.
Have fun.
Oh.
Good
Yep,
lord.
small cut.
Oh, it's actually not as much. I think it's all toned down lately, but it's if you look at Albert, he has a single cut to his chest. But it can be worse in some situations. I've seen several people get lots of cuts or even knocked out from backblast. I think something is just limiting it there a little bit, but
I think the
yeah.
body armor and the ADF kits is really good.
Probably
Yeah.
that as well, yeah, sort of thing. One
This
thing
is
to note,
a single cut to kill someone when they're down.
yeah.
As well.
One thing to note about backblast as well is if you follow me over here, give me something so I can show you. Backblast is a 3D,
Oh, no, I'm looking.
is animated 3D or calculated 3D wise. So if you have something behind you like a solid wall, this Hesco is showing me, the backblast will bounce off that wall and back into me, so I will get damaged by it. So if I shoot here, I've been cut twice on my chest. So it does work 3D. So if it can bounce off something back to you, it will hurt you, and that's something you don't want to do. So you want to have yourself set up somewhere where you don't have that obstruction behind you, not to hurt yourself. Okay, let me quickly heal myself and Reaper, so I'm nice like that.
I'm fine.
Oh, not Reaper, Albert.
Something to
Shut
note as
up.
well, if you're ever in the arsenal for any reason and you're selecting launchers, it will tell you the backblast angle of the launcher and all
it
the
will
details
also
for
tell
that.
you, it
No, it
tells you
does.
the angle
Ooh.
and the range.
It does.
Sorry, you
when
read
you're
me as well?
when you select the launcher in the top left near the
Ooh.
arsenal bar, tells you all your details.
I've not seen that before. That's cool.
It's got your angle.
I
It's
spent a
got
lot of time in the arsenal.
yeah, it's got your angle in degrees. It's got your weight of the actual launcher, and then the range of your backblast.
Yeah, that's nice. Backblast can exceed that 90-degree cone at times as well. So generally, it's a good idea. Just make sure no one's behind you at all. That anyone's in line with you. So that's that type of thing. Okay. So what I was talking about before when I went out of order was firing procedure. So because I'll say it again, but because your backblast and the factory launcher is a sections or platoons asset, we have a firing procedure that you go through anytime you are firing your launcher. How much you need to follow in this procedure is sometimes dependent on the situation, but this is the procedure that you need so you don't damage anyone and so your leader knows what's happening. Please don't be mucking around the arsenal. It makes lots of noise, and I don't want you doing what I'm not telling you to do. Thank you, guys. Okay. If everyone comes over here to look at me, please, I will demonstrate the firing procedure. Firing procedure is done with a buddy. For obvious reasons, the backblast. Your CO is also involved, but I'll go through the procedure now, and then I'll talk about it a little bit as well. Okay. It keeps scrolling up. So firing procedure. There's 5 steps to this procedure. First one is receive the order from your superior to use the weapon system. This is generally after you've called your contact. So if you've called contact on that, say, contact east 50 meters, medium wheeled vehicle stationary. I've called that contact up to myself acting as the section lead. Riddler engage that target. That's my clearance to fire. I've received the order to fire. They can say it in many ways, but that's how it comes. Step 2, equip the weapon system. Ready it and put yourself behind suitable cover if available, with at least 20 meters space behind you for your backblast. This isn't 20 meters, but it's good enough anyway. But I'll get behind the sandbag. I'll crouch down so I'm less of a target. So I've got a bit of cover. My environment's clear for me to engage this target. That first part as well is about equipping your weapon system. You should never have your launch out unless you've been told to use it. If you have your launch out, it's a harder thing to carry around and awkward to look at. Just wait until you've been told to shoot at something, or you definitely know you're about to hit. You're about to told to hit something. Once you set where you want to fire, call over local and shouting, clear backblast. Either your battle buddy or anyone else around you will check to see if anyone is in your backblast. If there is someone there, they will clear them out of the area. When your backblast is clear, they will reply backblast clear. So say again, I'll say clear backblast. Say boss cow, you're acting as my partner here. You'll clear my backblast.
Roger that. Backblast not clear. Hold fire.
Yeah, now you'll tell everyone to get out of the way. Be a boss. Be a boss cow and tell King to get out of the fucking way.
Blue Kings move out. Pull back. Pull back.
Good on ya. Okay.
Backblast clear. Clear to fire.
Now he's cleared my backblast. You reply backblast clear. One key thing I want you to remember from this tonight is there's 2 ways to say clear backblast and backblast clear. Clear backblast is what the person with the launcher says when they want their backblast to be cleared. Backblast clear is when it's been cleared and someone has taken ownership that your backblast is clear and you're good to fire. Do not mix the 2 words around, because if you've got multiple launchers trying to engage something and they hear incorrectly from someone else, then it goes to shit and people aren't listening correctly. Do not say backblast clear if you're the launcher guy until, unless you're telling someone it's clear. Say clear backblast when you want it to be cleared. That type of thing just makes it a lot easier in a stressful environment to understand the cues of when we're good to go. Generally, also, it's a good idea to call the clear backblast on comms as well, just to make sure everyone's aware of it so they don't start wandering around, or at least beyond shouting as well. Okay, once you have a shot on the vehicle, this is the next step. Once you have the shot on the vehicle, say to your section leader or to IC that you've got you're ready to fire, basically. If they've already told you to fire at will or just engage it or whatever, you can skip this step. But there are times where they'll say, get ready on target, and you've done all these steps in preparation for engaging that target, and you've told your 2IC that or your sector that you're ready to go. With all that done, fifth step is fire the weapon system. I'll do it now. Fire the weapon system and report the effect, or the BDA. BDA stands for Battle Damage Assessment. That's a key thing you'll hear during night sometimes. Battle Damage Assessment is telling you what happened with your shot, what's the state of the vehicle. Call if you've missed, call if you disabled it, or if you destroyed it. So you know the effect, so they know the effect and can lead on from there. Me talking about the Seco. So I'll call BDA engaged, M kill. M kill stands for mobility kill, so it's disabled, it won't be going anywhere. It's been cooked off, we probably will saw dismounts from that. So that's basically it. So I'll go over quickly again after telling the scene to be quiet, so everyone can hear me a bit better. So fire procedure in order is receive the order and of what you need to be engaged. Equip the weapon system and get yourself set up. Clear the backblast with a buddy. Advise your Seco that you've got the shot on, or skip this step if you don't need to, if you've already been told to kill it. And then fifth, fire the weapon and report back. Any questions on that at all, guys? I'm very impressed there's no questions, because I'm about to judge you if there were meant to be. So now that we've gone over the firing procedure, what I'm going to do is I'll get you guys to buddy up with someone else. Just say whoever you want to go with. What you guys will be doing, you'll be acting as the guy firing the launcher, and then the battle buddy / commander or Seco. The battle buddy will call out the contact they want you to hit. They'll also advise you if you're ready to fire, and also if you're clear your backblast, that type of thing. So everyone grab buddy real quick, and I'll tell you to get a launcher in a second.
I think you may need to take someone as a buddy Riddler.
We'll get 3 going. It's not too bad.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Get someone
That way I can watch over you guys. Whoever's more
I can just run it
experienced.
solo.
Yeah, whoever's more experienced, go on the 3 together. So maybe Boss K, you go with Reaper and Yumi and whatnot.
Yep.
Everyone else, everyone,
Damn
let's
it.
go to the Arsenal.
I mean, oh no, oh yeah.
Hopefully you've all got your buddies. If you haven't, I'll be very
Coward.
disappointed.
I'll get
Yeah.
you Lucians.
Cool.
Okay.
Everyone, look at the Arsenal, please, and I'll be getting you to grab something out. So, in the Arsenal, just to preface this, this asset is currently flagged as not being usable in the mod set. This is the ADFU Carl Gustav. So you probably won't see it currently, but I'm aware that we're trying to get the updated version of this mod in sometime soon. So it's good to learn, and also it's one of the more complex launchers that is good to learn, because if you learn this launcher, you can go anywhere. So in Arsenal, I want you to go to launcher and grab the M3 Carl Gustav, please. It's got the Australian ADFU flag next to it. Once you've got that, I want you to select in the sights the M3 CG sights. That sight is needed for this weapon to work, so make sure you've got that one. Okay, next I want you to go to backpack. Just grab any backpack that isn't completely stupid. Just something that's large enough to grab a few rounds in. Once you've got your backpack, I want you to go to your magazines for currently selected weapons. There, I want you to grab one HEAT and 2 of the HEAT RAP. If you've got extra space, feel free to grab another HEAT. For this as well, if you've been playing around, just drop your primary and secondary any weight you don't need. This is pure launcher class, so you don't need any of that stuff at the moment. Okay, once you've got your launcher and the rounds, line up with your buddy on the line, and we'll start going over this.
Yeah.
Quickly line up the line. I'll just be a second because I'll go with my cat in.
Is heat wrap.
Okay, I'm back. Albert, have you overweighed yourself? My God. Everyone line up, please. Pull out your launcher and name down the site. Lucius, come on.
Yeah, I'm fucking lost in this stupid Arsenal as usual.
What are you struggling with?
Everything.
You've got your sights. Oh, you don't have your sight. So go back to your launcher.
Yep.
And on the right side, it'll automatically be there. 3G sight. Just click on that. Yep.
Got it.
And go to your backpack.
Yep.
And then on the right side, where the icon magazine is, the single magazine.
Okay.
And yeah, click on the heat and then grab one of those, and the heat wrap, grab a couple of those. Yep. Yeah, if you only carry one, that's
One of
fine.
each.
You can come back and get more later.
Cool.
Everyone on the line will go from here. King, come on. We're not waiting for you now. You want to go touch stuff? Come on. Everyone launch out, aim down the sights. I'll quickly go over how the site works so you understand how to use it, and then we'll go and have some shooty stuff. So this site is different to other ones you might have seen. It's got the sighting guide down the middle. The chevron in the middle, the cross the arrow, is the bore sight of the weapon. That's a 0 range. And then on the right and left side, you've got 100-meter ranging guides going down to 700 and 500 on the right and left. This weapon also has a rangefinder. It's you'll see some white dotted lines below the ranging guide. If you go to a target, put your arrow over that target and press your T, which is your default laser guide. That will give you a range to the target where those blue lines were. Is everyone seeing that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is anyone not seeing that? That's good to hear. Just for reference, everyone who called that MBT, actually it wasn't too far away. It was about 200. Yeah, not too bad. Call me wrong. Okay, so you've got a range to target with this. With that range to the target, you're able to effectively use the sighting guides in the right and left to basically give you exactly where you need to point this weapon to accurately hit the target. So on the right side is the standard ranging guide, the one that says STD. It's not the thing you think of, it's just standard. Standard refers to basically all the types of rounds this launcher uses. It uses the right side, which is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 meter ranging. It's very consistent drop off in range, so it's you're able to go further than that, but you have to be good at guessing. On the left-hand side is the RAP. That stands for Rocket Assisted Projectile. That's the sighting guide you use for the heat wrap rocket I asked you to get out. It's the same type of round as the heat rocket. It's just a rocket-assisted projectile, which means it goes faster but is also heavier. So you'll see 100, 200, 300, 400, then it skips to 700. The rocket-assisted projectile, it drops off faster, but then it will carry further than the standard rounds. There is the 500 and 600 ranging below the 400. It's just not indicated. It's not written to save space. So when you're using it, that's the starting guide you use for the heat wrap rocket if you load it. Any questions from that, guys? Perfect. I assume you all have mastered the weapon of the M3 Carl Gustav. One thing to note, this rocket, the reason it's sort of broken in some people's eyes is because it doesn't, you can't see the rocket actually flying in the air. Don't worry about that too much. You'll see where it hits anyway, so don't be too worried if you don't see something flying towards target. Still makes all the bushy sounds and whatnot. As long as everyone's across how to use the rocket, I want you all to work with your battle buddy. Feel free to have a bit of distance as well, so you're able to talk to each other without shouting over everyone. Go to sort of like the half volume, just make sure you're not going too loud for everyone. One of you will be the Rocketeer, and one of you will be the battle buddy / Secco. Go through the firing procedure, have someone call out the target. Okay, all good, Reaper. You guys are still good there, so that's all good. One of you be the battle buddy, one of you be the Rocketeer. Battle buddy call out the target, and the launcher guy will engage that target using the correct procedure. Also, when you call out the target, call it out a contact call as well, so you get some practice with that. Start going ahead.
Call out first, or do you want me to call out first?
You've already got.
You want to go first?
You can do. I'll do the second ring.
Yeah, sure.
We want to jump to a different short range just so it's, we can communicate easier.
Yeah, just go over the local guys, will be alright. Go learn to talk over the people. Have a bit of space if you really want, but yeah.
Are we fine? Alright.
We just go.
Yep. Everyone go when you're ready. Start firing, give orders, and stuff.
190 meters.
Albert, lights at east,
190 meters,
lights,
medium track, stationary, which one?
150 meters.
What's your direction, Hume? Go give direction.
Yeah, I identified the southeast come through.
I called east southeast. Force get preparing.
Yep, hit action.
At 200.
Sighted.
Identified.
And is fire. Clear back blast.
Back blast clear.
Firing.
Firing now. Target got effect reloading.
Good effect on target.
Heat action, heat up.
Yep.
Wasn't quite the
so
one I
Albert,
meant,
you're
but
the one
close
to
enough.
call out that, not Lemonade, so make sure you
yeah.
call out what happened after you shoot. Otherwise, good work.
Oh, when didn't you say before that Secco was supposed to say effect?
No, whoever shot the thing says it to Secco, so Secco's aware.
Ah,
Because Secco
copy.
won't always be tracking what you're doing. So you give information to them, and they go from there.
Especially with the
Okay.
hit action on the hit up. When you say hit up, you like fucking slap your mate in the back.
Alright, your turn.
Real fun.
Yep.
That happens very regularly.
Directly behind the antenna.
Contact vehicle, wheel, medium wheel, east, southeast, 130.
East, south, BTR.
Scene. Clear back
Contact,
blast.
East southeast, 200 meters. Tank in the
Back
open,
blast clear.
stationary.
Firing.
Yep.
Effect on target M kill.
Good effect.
So that. Okay.
Also, that
yeah,
that
he
wasn't
gave
actually
prepared
the one that
against
I was targeting.
Yeah, well that one was 160.
It was that one.
Back blast clear.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, 130 is the bearing one I meant.
Reload.
Yeah, well that was closer to 200.
Target.
Okay, you want
Yeah.
another go?
Target hit.
Sure.
M kill. Reload.
Roger.
Okay, you ready?
Engage,
Yep.
fire and adjust.
Albert, heavy vehicle contact, east northeast, 200 meters.
Ready to fire.
Now barrel smoking. Target.
You're supposed to shout clear back blast.
Destroyed.
Oh yeah, clear back blast.
Back blast clear.
Firing.
Don't know if Riddler covered this and I wasn't paying attention, but usually the fire command is the
Non
command,
effect on target.
and you respond to that.
Might be
I've
a kill.
seen and on.
Copy.
So seen, I've spotted the target on, I've lined it up, and then you'll get the command fire.
Okay, so I'm noticing that we need to start using more numbers because all three of these we've been wrong. I meant that one.
Oh.
Oh, but that's out 300. Okay, your turn.
But yeah, that's why I always use bearing numbers as well.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, your turn.
Just want to keep punching?
To the right-hand side.
Contact direct east 250 meters, heavy track.
I now no longer use him for Bluey because he doesn't have his bearings on. And he
Where the
gets
heck is
fucking
250?
fucking times.
Ah, let's go that one. Okay,
No,
target
what,
scene.
What I meant is 250 meters.
Yeah, target scene. Back, clear back blast.
Back blast is not clear.
Sorry, I'm back.
Reroll, move away.
Sweet, that works. Alright, okay.
Okay, back blast is clear.
Copy, firing.
I did say heavy track, but yeah, fair enough.
That one is. Oh, I see the one you meant. That one's 700 meters apparently. Oh, never mind. I was aiming the bore side at the wrong thing. Never mind, you were right.
Also, on an effect on target.
Well, that's interesting. It looked like a direct hit.
Have one more round, have one more person fire each time, and then I'll be back.
Go on.
Pass burning what? Oh, the burning wreck? Yeah.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Not destroyed exactly.
Albert, medium tracked, east southeast 114.
Target hit.
Spotted.
It is.
Unknown effect, damage.
Looks like an
Clear blast.
Yeah, I don't see crew bailing, so.
The one thing
Clear
you
back
gotta
blast?
do is
Back
get
blast
people
clear.
to grapple these used launches.
Yeah, that thing's not gone anywhere. It could
Act
roll, but
firing.
that's
Just getting the
mobility
right
kill.
hand
At
from
least
the
a
side
mission
of the
kill,
top.
100%.
I mean, I've still seen him run with no wheels.
Good effect on target.
That was a nice shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I completely forgot the
Usually
range
they'll
there.
get
Oops.
by themselves once the
Yeah.
wheels hit a certain percent.
Well, to be honest, the sighting has a
Have you both
laser.
gone or?
Yeah.
We both had to go with both.
No, I was just guessing. Okay,
Yeah.
you get one more go.
I wish you wouldn't have fished tank when you said that.
Lemonade, contact.
We don't want to fish tank though.
Southeast. 100 meters bearing 147. Heavy track.
Act scene. Clear back blast.
Sorry, what?
Clear back blast.
Back blast clear.
Is that the thing I'm thinking
Copy,
of? Right.
firing. Got to take it off safety, firing.
Multiple surprises in waiting.
Wait, it wasn't?
No.
The CG has a backblast radius of about 50 odd meters.
Oh, whoops.
You're also standing in between those sandbags, looking basically away from us. That is
Whoops,
not
sorry.
backblast clear.
Yeah, apologies.
Reapers, you want to try giving a 5 man?
Good effect on target.
You want to try giving a
Good
5?
effect on friendly.
Southeast.
Yeah, learning the cones is important.
Light wheel Davis.
Everyone,
Yeah,
one more
it's-
shot,
it's
and
sometimes can
we'll
be a
finish
bit
chapter
hard
shot
to
doing now, then we'll
visualize the
fire when ready.
cone.
Yeah.
Scene on, firing now.
Okay, throw it.
Yeah, I believe that over pen because there was
That's
Hey,
heat, right?
Riddler.
Yeah.
I'm dipping because I'm sick and I feel like crap.
Please throw a heat round in.
Sorry.
I mean, for something like
That's all good.
BRBN, I would assume a lap would be used over a
Hope you're well, mate.
Target.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty clear.
or
Yep,
even like
clear,
spinning
engaging.
wheel, something would do that.
I'll see you soon.
worst ones are working giant
Not that
trees.
good. Alright, so I think
Oh,
heat
yeah,
wrap
that's
is
always
too much
wonderful.
velocity killer BRDM. Or at least you
That's
definitely would take the
ridiculous.
gunner. Yeah.
Okay,
So
everyone,
that was heat
gather
wrap.
around. Gather around.
That was heat wrap over best.
Sorry, I'm pulling my phone. Oh, the fire went out itself. That's why the fire went out. Okay. Fucking fire's still going.
Got marshmallows?
Can't think about anything when there's fires going around all the way. Okay. That's fixed. Yeah, next part of the night is shot placement. Besides the fire and forget system, like a javelin or Titan, it is important to aim for the correct part of an armored vehicle to disable or destroy it with as little shots taken as possible. This is particularly important when, say, a mat weapon is trying to deal with modern MBTs such as a T90 or an Abrams. So, large part of shot placement is knowing the enemy's assets' weak spots they can exploit the most. For some people, this might be easy because you know the ins and outs of every military vehicle ever known, but for others, it might not be as easy. That's why we simplify it down to key points of all type of vehicles. All vehicles have weak spots, but most of them boil down to the turret and the engine areas. Sorry, 1 second, I need to put my cards on. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so all vehicles have weak spots, but they come down to engine and turret areas. Starting with the engine is usually located to the rear of the vehicle, behind all the armor. Grab a example of this. Oh, I just knocked out a tree accidentally. Say this T-72 behind me or to the side in the range. The engine of this vehicle is located in the back, near the fuel tanks at the side of it. If I turn the engine on, you'll see a haze coming out from the back portion of the tank where the grills are. Turn it this way, you'll see a bit easier, where the exhaust is on the side. That is the general indication of where the engine of the vehicle is, where the exhaust is coming from. 9 times out of 10, it will show you where. For that tank, it's to the front. For other vehicles, it can be to, that tank is to the rear. Other vehicles, it can be to the front. So take this M113, the engine of which is to the front, but that's where the exhaust is coming from, so you can see it quite easily. BMP as well, you see the exhaust coming out there as well. As Boss Cow said, dry sprocket as well. If you can spot it at the very where the I'll bring that up nice and close. The right side most sprocket, it's actually a sprocket. It's got teeth on it. If you see the teeth, that's also where the engine side is because that's where the transmission is. So you can also use that for that also. But generally, where you see the exhaust is pretty easy to tell. So it's not always the easiest place to hit because it is usually located behind all the armor. Say the vehicle's facing this way. But if you land a solid shot on the engine block, it's usually the easiest way to disable a vehicle because once any or for armor, when any of the systems on a vehicle have been destroyed, say the turret, the engine, the tracks, stuff like that, the crew will dismount. The AI crew will dismount the vehicle once it's become M killed, which is mobility killed. That's what we refer to when we say that sort of thing. Other weak areas of vehicles is the turret area. So pretty clear to see for the vehicle like this. Less clear for other more sloped turret areas, but the turret area, which is it's pretty self-explanatory, which is where the whole of the tank meets the rotating turret, the gun. That's the turret area. If you hit shots on that area, on the weakest spots of it, that's also a very easy way to disable a vehicle as well. It's also where you find the ammo and the crew a lot of the time as well. It is also where the main gun of the vehicle is. So hitting the turret area where it will disable quite a few systems of the vehicle all the time. The turret as well is also armored at the front all the time. Eliminating any of these, the turrets, the engine tracks, anything like that, is a great way to disable the vehicle. Sorry. The places to watch for are the turret ring, so where the actual thing meets the body of the vehicle, or the very side of the turret or the back of it. As well as where the gun entry point of the vehicle is, which is called the mantlet. So where the barrel of the gun actually enters the vehicle, if you land a shot on that particular area where that sort of like canvas type texture is, that's also a great way to disable the vehicle as well. If you hit a shot there, most of the time you only want to do that when you only got front shot though as well. In any case, for a shot on the vehicle, the side or the rear is better than any shot in the front. Funny enough, tanks are designed not to die, so they had the strongest armor at the front of the vehicle. So you don't want to go for a front shot most of the time, unless you definitely know your weapon will just penetrate and kill it anyway. You want to go for those side shots instead. So you want to hit it on the side like that, or in the rear like this one sort of here. Any questions on that so far? Bit of babbling. Hopefully you understood what I'm meaning, but boils down to you just want to go for the side shot or the back shot if you can. Back shot in a good way, not the bad way. Or
just
even
about to make
better,
a joke.
yeah, or even better, go for the top of the vehicle. If you can hit the top roof of it, it's a great way to penetrate as well. If you've got the angle to do it, don't try and do it from here because you'll just like skip off it. But if you are on a building and you're pointing down to a vehicle, you can kill it quite easily though as well. Any questions about that at all, guys? Cool. One last thing for shot placement. I just deleted my example, but I'll bring it right back. On vehicles, there's something called ERA, or active protection systems, or passive protection systems. Our AT that we use is all heat weapons, high explosive anti-tank. Vehicles are smart fuckers, and they devise ways to defeat our weapons, and we devise weapons to defeat their stuff, and vice versa, and all that sort of stuff. So on vehicles, there's things that will more easily stop a weapon from destroying it. ERA is one example, which is exampled by this Macabre to the left, and also this T90 to the right, if it wants to stay a little bit. I don't think the T72 does. There should be a T80, I think. Maybe we don't have one in cup, actually. That's all good.
Some of the Bradleys use ERA as well.
Yeah. Yeah, where is he? Does that one have it? No, that's all good. You'll understand it.
Really, you stop
You're
talking.
not talking.
Yeah.
There's no
Riddler, you
volume
still not
coming from
talking?
you.
You still can't hear me?
There we go.
Ah, there you go.
There
Now
we
you're
go.
back.
I just have to start talking a third time. It's all good. On the side here, that's ERA. These plates you see here. It's called explosive reactive armor. What it does is, on the moment you hit it with your weapon, it explodes itself, and it basically negates all of the damage that you were trying to do with your weapon. So if you see a tank that has these type of things, you want to try and avoid those areas. On this T90, for example, there's plates on the side here. There's also these cones on the side here as well, the angled things there as well. That's ERA. If you see those type of things, if you can identify them, you want to avoid them as much as you can and go for shots that avoid those areas. So, for example, in this Macarva, the ERA covers basically everything. Doesn't cover the back here, so you could possibly go for that. But better yet, you can also go for the side shot here where the ERA isn't, and that's a good spot because you hit the dry sprocket. Oh, that's not even the dry sprocket on this one. Actually, it's the front one. That's actually not very good on the Macarva. Yeah, it's actually not good on the Macarva because that's actually a crew compartment. But if a tank like that has a slot where you can hit it, yeah, that's where you want to go for it,
Hit
basically.
the ammo rack, 'cause I'm pretty sure that's where the ammo rack is held. So they only have one
Yeah, I
shot
believe
left.
it would. Yeah, as long as it's yeah, no active thing. Also on the Macarva, it's got ones in the front as well. So those plates in the front you see there, they're ERA as well.
Jeez, the right hand side of the Macarva is doghouse. There's a big fucking hole in it.
Yeah, that's
the
the
yeah.
exhaust actually. So that's one example. One good thing to know about the Macarva. That's where the exhaust and engine on the Macarva is actually. So if you hit a shot there, that's where your engine compartment is. That's your engine shot on this type of vehicle. So that's one nice thing to know in case you're in an op4 environment.
That's a really tight shot to make at any range, really.
Yeah, unless you're dumb and close. This Leopard here is actually this is T90M. This is Aero as well. T14 has as well, a bit more camouflage, but there's plates you can sort of see there. That's Aero. You want to avoid those areas. This here as well. This is a passive armor system. This is slat armor. What it does is it tries to detonate the round before it hits the actual armored area. So it basically tries to detonate in the open where it will effectively do no damage. This is sort of spots where you also want to avoid on vehicles. So if you see this type of armor, it will mostly negate your damage you do. I'll quickly show you guys what happens when you hit it, because if you actually hit where ERA is, I'll get a desert camouflage with that. If you actually hit where ERA is, it actually gets rid of that area of the tank.
You can just grab the one from up there.
Yeah. If I can get Bosco, you got around in your thing.
Yeah, I got hit.
Bosco, if you can just shoot one at the side of that Macarva, please.
Roger that. Firing now.
Oh, that wasn't a great example.
Yeah.
Juice hammer,
At
reckon?
range and at enough velocity, the overping.
I can see what you mean though. The plates have disappeared.
Well, you've successfully took out most of the turret. The tracks are completely fucked. That's some pretty good work there, bud. Okay, that was a bad example, but you saw where.
Yeah, we can see where the plates
Yeah,
detonated.
it went black. I don't know why it was so easy to kill there, but usually
Because
it's
the
a bit easier.
distance, so that's
Yeah.
like
I
peak
think
velocity
it's
for
because
the
we're
round.
using maps
Oh,
and not flat.
heat rounds are meant to be they don't care about velocity because they're just
No,
they're
so
explosive.
at that distance, the velocity does matter because the velocity from the round hitting the target out there and the round here is a matter of a couple hundred to a couple to like below 1,000 to above 1,000, and that's enough that it hits it, it detonates, but it doesn't have enough time to actually damage the round before it impacts the center plate and activates the fuse proper.
Yeah, actually, it might be true. I haven't really played around with that, so that might be the case.
I don't know if that's how it's modeled.
Macarva
That's
is
just how
also
it
shit.
works.
The Macarva is also dog shit. So, it's you see that more demonstrated if you hit the front plates as well. Boss, if you can hit the fuck it, actually no, don't do that. I don't want you to blow this thing up. One sec. I'm gonna use something a bit. I'm gonna use something a bit lighter. You
Yeah.
know.
Like that.
What am I lighting down? That's just completely negated that round because it's hit the slat arm.
There's also some of the slat left.
Yeah. So if I look at the damage of this, it actually took no damage except for on the slat armor. The slat left box that I hit is completely destroyed. There's no other damage to any systems on that vehicle. If I took another shot at that thing, what's it teleporting? If I take another shot at this thing, and I have a look at it, it is smoking. You can see that already, and I've done 100% damage to engine, 89 hull. Torrent is dead. Commander Torrent's dead. So yeah, that is the complete difference to active to protection systems that you counter. So if you do see them, just avoid them unless you 100% know you got to deal with it straight away.
Tandem rounds and rock system projectiles will also defeat those systems with fairly regularly as well.
Yeah, depends on the type of round. So if you got your hats, the hats won't care at all, really, regardless. You do have the RPG in around. There
As
isn't
well as
any
the
others.
thermos, the lighter vehicles like the patsy
Yeah.
with the thermo, I think will still fuck it a little bit. At
Yeah,
least
so
hang out
there is a couple different things, but general rule of thumb is just avoid those systems if you can. If you can't, you can utilize 2 shots to take out the protection system, and then you can use the second shot to actually hit it. One thing about those type of things as well is any explosive usually is good at detonating as well. So you can actually 40 mic the sides of them a lot of times well, and they don't like that. Spent a bit of time on that topic, but is anyone got questions on that? Very good. What's my next one? Okay. Next one is hats, guided hat systems. We'll go through this and then we'll have a bit of fun playing around with the actual using them. So some hat weapon systems are guided fire and forget systems and other semi-automatic systems. The fire and forget systems are easiest to use. They allow the operator to fire the weapon and then retreat into cover immediately. The missile will guide itself onto the target and destroy it. Semi-automatic guided weapons require the operator to hold a sight on the target, and the missile will follow as best it can wherever the sight is pointing, allowing for accurate long-range shots or even leading a moving target. That semi-automatic is called a wire guide system. Same principle as well if it was a IR, like laser guided as well. Each of these have their limitations in terms of readjustment as well, though. Some fire forget systems can perform a top-down attack as well. This is prevalent on the javelin and the that other one, the vanilla one, the one I can't remember.
Titan.
The Titan, yeah, that one. Brain fart. That has top-down attack. These will basically fly the missile up in the air, and then the missile will come down on top of the target and attack through that top turret area where it's less armored. Beware of this though. When using this fire mode, you need a clear area above you because the missile will go straight up from where you are, more or less, and also you need clear air above the target as well for the missile to come down into. So if you're firing from inside a building or in heavy tree cover, you can possibly hit something and blow yourself up. So try and avoid that. You also want to be careful of where the target is. If it's inside a building, inside below a shed or something, or in heavy tree cover, got power lines above it, that type of thing, it can inhibit the round from hitting it effectively. So if it's a moving target, it's a good idea to wait until you get a good shot. Okay, we'll go quickly demonstrate the hats weapons we have. So in the arsenal, come on over. In launcher, I want you to scroll down to the, where are you? Blind. The FGM-148 Javelin. I want you to grab one of these puppies out, and then in your backpack, if it fits, I want you to grab one extra round for it as well.
Carry off fits.
You might need to empty your bag as well for this as well. So if you need to do that, make sure you do that. If you're not carrying anything, you shouldn't be overweight yet. If you are overweight, then you haven't been listening to me tonight. Once you've got one round and the launch in your back, line up on the line. And we're quickly going to go over how this thing works. So, first thing first, how this weapon works. This is an infrared guided weapon. It's a lock-on weapon, and it can't lock onto something unless you're in thermals. So this weapon has thermals. If you hit the No, not the V key. That's the
N.
wrong one. These days, I've been using Warthog too much. If you
I think
hit the N,
it's still N for me. It's the default.
yeah, I actually changed as well. I don't know why I said
It's
that.
night vision on.
If you press N, it will go into thermal mode. You go press it twice
You have to press it at
to
least
go to
twice.
thermal. Yeah, if you press it twice, you'll go to white hot. If you press it 3 times, it goes to black hot. White hot means anything that's white is a heat target, and anything that's black is a heat target if you're in black hot. White hot's usually the easiest eyes most of the time. Once you're in this vision, you'll notice lots of things lighting up on your screen. Currently, all the vehicles are inactive, but if I do one quick thing, if you scan far away on the ridge about a kilometer away, if you keep looking up there,
Identified.
Engines on.
you'll notice a lot of engines just turned on. You'll see smoke coming out of them. They also should eventually warm up and be brighter objects. You are able to lock onto engine on targets, but the engine on targets are easier to see. So now you sort of see that to lock onto a target with this weapon, what you need to do is look at the weapon, look at the target, have it centered on your camera on the radical green lines, and then hold the tab key. Tab key is the default lock on for this weapon. If you rebound it, it'll be something else, but tab should automatically start doing it. If you hover it over target, there'll be beeping starting to happen, and then eventually, if you hold tab long enough, there'll be a solid crosshair go on the target, and it'll have a different tone happen as well. Is everyone seeing that?
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Once you've got that tone in the solid crosshair, you're locked onto the target and you're able to fire. You'll also notice if you go out and into it, you'll see Seek on the top right. That will turn green. That's also an indicator that you're locked on as well. Basically, once you've got that, you're locked onto a target and you're able to fire. Don't fire yet though, because there's more to explain. For this weapon, I talked about it has a top-down attack. Javelins have a top-down attack. That's the most lethal way to use this weapon. By default, it's set to directional, which is a straight shot. It goes directly towards the target. If you press your Control and Tab key, Control Tab will change your fire mode on the right side. Instead of DIR being highlighted, TOP will be highlighted. TOP means top attack, and if you have that selected, you're in the top attack setting. If you have the environment to do a top attack, it's always best to use the top attack. As someone else said, you can also use the F key to change it. That's your default to change shoot key. But if you do Control Tab, it does a satisfying click. It's always nice to hear that. Once you're in top down attack, you're basically good to go. One thing to note: the directional, the directional is good if you have instructions on the target, or if you're shooting at a helicopter or a plane. Directional is better than top-down attack for air targets because it doesn't try to do the flourish of attacking it from above. If you hit the air target with this thing, it's killing it anyway. So if you are being used in an air setting with this weapon, use the directional. Okay, now you've heard me do all that spiel, I want you to have a couple shots of this. Don't worry about firing procedure, you've already done that sort of stuff. Just find a target out there, have a shot at it, and have a bit of fun.
We're going to start firing?
Yeah, good to start firing.
I forgot, is there a minimum range for this?
There is. I don't remember how close, but
At 150 meters is like you don't want to be firing any closer
Christian,
than
aim
that.
at that. Right in front of us.
That vehicle is more than 200 away, so yeah, that's definitely outside of the minimum.
The one I hit isn't
Oh
even
no,
fucking
not the one I'm pointing at. Probably less than 50.
I think there's a minimum, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah.
can't adjust seek a launch angle on this, can you?
What's that, sir?
Launch angle on this manually, can you?
No, it's everything's fixed.
Yeah. Be able to.
Feel free to grab another round as well if you weren't able to carry enough to have a couple of shots. Have
That's a
a
good
little muck
point
around.
for the directional. If the target is close, then you want to use directional over attack.
Yeah. If it doesn't have enough time to do a top attack, there's no point using it. Also, if you are hitting a vehicle on its side as well, top attack's less useful. Anyway, if you have a side shot, you don't necessarily need the top attack as much anymore. But a lot of the time, the MVTs you'll be facing are in front of you, so you just use the top attack and just take out the threat.
Holy shit, that actually
That's
hit.
very close.
Well, that one is definitely dead.
Close target, kind of locking them, and then looking down till you've hit the bottom of the box, and then it will maintain lock for a little bit. Just do that. You look down till you hit the edge of the lock.
That's in a building, by the way.
And you can.
Yeah.
Whoever gates that one.
I was hoping someone would do that.
Tell you to extreme close engagements with lock-ons.
So one example, everyone, someone just hit a weasel that was inside of a garage. I assume you use top attack, is that correct?
Hell no, a directional top attack wouldn't do anything.
No. Well, basically that building fully stopped it. If he was using top attack, it wouldn't have done anything either. So it does actually work. So make sure you are using it in the right way. You did use it the right way, but armor just goes to the center of the vehicle. So give them slightly recessed, probably would have hit the center of the vehicle. It would have hit the building trying to go for the center of the vehicle. I meant.
I just took the vehicle off.
No, someone was able to hit.
Yeah, finish it up with the vehicle.
Nice.
I think the frag got it, or you may have actually just outright hard penned the roof.
Yeah. Alright, everyone have one more shot if you've got one ready, and then we'll go on to the next thing.
Wow, the Abrams is really hard not to crack.
Yeah, the Abrams took 2 for me.
Everyone, let's go on to the next parts. Feel free to drop your javelins as well if you don't want to look at them. You don't need them at the moment anyway. Let me just delete these things cooking off, because it's always hard to talk over it. And that has people inside. There's more people inside it. Okay. We'll be going over anti-armor tactics. When dealing with an armor threat, it's generally not wise to just wing a shot at the threat. Careful maneuvering and thinking, even for a short time, can greatly increase your chances of defeating the threat quickly. As much as possible, you want to close the gap between you and the target, so you've got a better shot on it. Attack it from its side or rear, or also be in the hub and position yourself as well in case you get retaliation. The reasoning for these is the vehicle probably has a greater effective range than you. Its guns are bigger, and the front, as we've discussed, is the most heavily defended area. So you want to get yourself somewhere safe, so in case you miss, you're not going to get completely annihilated. But you also want to get yourself somewhere where you actually are able to deal with the threat in an effective way. So, just a quick example, and I'll show you the example. A map brick is watching a road when they spot a heavy tracked vehicle approaching at speed. Instead of standing in the middle of the road screaming, "Witness me," and that type of stupid shit, the brick leader or the AT man should, if possible, conceal his brick until the vehicle is either passing or is passed, so they can take a rear or a side shot. Effectively, you're ambushing it. Even if the first shot isn't effective, being in being in an ambush position, the vehicle's crew will find it hard to locate you, allowing you more time to attack it again if need be. Also, if you've taken that rear shot, it has to turn around and acquire you as well. So, for an example, if you come on over here, one second. Just trying to read ahead to see what I'm actually going to be talking about in a second. So, for example, if we're sitting over here, we're looking up this hill. Where's my camera gone? What the fuck? Okay, here we are. If we're looking at that hill, we can see something like this boy. We see that's tank appear. To our southwest upslope, 200 meters. Yeah, you might not be seeing it. There it is. It's an Abrams. It's a heavy tracked vehicle, MBT. It's coming down towards us. It's currently looking at us. It's actually sitting at that location and looking directly at us. Currently, I would say most of you would not be able to kill that thing from here because that's the worst possible position to hit it from. If we took a shot at that with a mat weapon, it definitely wouldn't do anything. If we tried to shoot with a hat weapon, we could possibly kill it. Basically, we're in a bad spot and we can't deal with the threat. Instead of staying here, we should get somewhere better and try and take out that threat while staying safe and doing it. So if we were to say, look to our right, to the northwest, we can go through those trees, get a little bit of cover, and we can start moving up the hill around the vehicle. Instead of staying here, we can go and be actually better and go somewhere else. So say if I teleport us where we're moving to, bad luck, I'm teleporting you anyway. Actually, I'm going to teleport somewhere different, sorry. I've teleported us over here. That vehicle can still see us. We've gone through trees, but if you look to our right to the west, if we keep moving across that field, we get into cover behind that hill, and then that tank can't hit us anymore. Everyone see that?
Yep.
So if we get to that position, we've effectively neutralized the threat against us, and we're halfway to where we want to be to hit that threat. So say if we keep moving up that hill along that line we were going, we've reached this position here. If everyone looks to the southeast, slightly beyond the trees, we've now got a side shot on that tank. We've also got trees around us, and if we go back slightly, we can also use the deflate of the hill as well. What we've successfully done is we've moved, it's probably taken us less than 2 minutes to do that movement. We've changed the entire scenario from a tank looking at us and about to kill us to a tank that's looking away from us, and we've got a side shot on it. If we're a mat team, we're able to effectively engage that tank now and probably neutralize it for us. Everyone understand that?
Yes, well, I think if we were a mat team looking up that road, we would be here anyway. We wouldn't be at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, it's more of a you want to get yourself in the right position to start with, but if you're just a regular section and you had a BMP show up in you, this is the type of movement that you'll be doing as well.
That's fair.
You wanna be this is just basic tactics and movements, but applying against vehicles. If you're a secco, this is the type of thing you should be thinking of. You you think about the terrain, the threat you're against, and how to effectively outmaneuver it or maneuver yourself to a more effective position. So yeah. Um, Another example we have is a hat team is Overwatch of a large valley, and they spot 3 tracked vehicles moving towards them in a formation along a road. Say we're the hat team, and we're watching the southeast road of us. And we have, let me find a suitable candidate. Where's one of my T-tanks? Here we are. Say we're watching that southeast road, and we see I think we should be able to see it. We see that tank turn around, and it's coming towards us right now. Same thing as well. If we're a hat team, if we're a mat team, that probably is a bit better for us here as well. But if we're a mat team or a hat team, we've had a vehicle come towards us. One vehicle, multiple vehicles, doesn't really matter. It's highly possible the other vehicles may notice. Wait, what the fuck is? I don't know what sentence I wrote there, so I'm not going to talk about that. Currently, our initial shot won't be very effective. We're likely to miss the target, and if people are keen-eyed as well, if that tank moves more closer to us, there's actually power lines between us and the shot as well. So even if those power lines weren't there, we've got a bad shot and we're not in the best position to deal with that thing. Instead of trying to engage it right now, we stay in cover, make sure the tank doesn't see us, and that tank will continue moving like this. Eventually, it's got to come to this bend in the road, and it's actually going a different way. It's going that way now. Can anyone tell me how it's changed right now?
Side attack.
We've got a side attack. So we can effectively hit that vehicle and disable it or destroy it because we've taken less than 30 seconds. We've waited for that vehicle to come around and we're now able to effectively kill it. Now, moving targets are hard to hit when they're side on, but if you practice enough, you should be able to hit the shot effectively and hit that moving target. And now that we've got the side shot, we can easily hit it and disable it most likely. Especially at range like this, it's short distance, so there's not too much travel time with your rocket, so you should be able to hit it quite effectively. Basically, it's about thinking of how best to attack a vehicle and trying to apply that to your scenario. Say that vehicle is moving on that road, but we've also got a friendly section right there to the east. We've got guys in the defloid and the tank's about to approach them. That does change the scenario, so we might actually need to hit it, but if you can avoid it, if you can tell them to lay low, we can wait for that vehicle to go by. It's anti-armor tactics is basically just applying movement to effectively engage your threats. One thing I'll note about this as well, this is generally for secos to think of, but you as the AT man, you should be thinking about this stuff as well, because you can't always rely on your seco to always know exactly how best to utilize you. And some of the best things that you can do is give suggestions and improve the squad's effectiveness by giving a suggestion, that being a better suggestion, and applying that effectively. So if you as the specialist of in your team of you're the AT person and you're thinking about the AT aspect of it, feel free to suggest it or start doing it to best utilize yourself. Has anyone got questions?
Can I get a heal? I want out of AFK in the air.
Nice, good work. That should heal you. Now, if no one has questions, we're going to go into the last subject to quickly just go over it, and then we'll have a little bit of fun for a second. I'll just quickly teleport ourselves back over here. Actually, one thing we'll do, if everyone goes to Arsenal, before we do this last one, we'll quickly go over the other hat weapon, which is the Y-guide variant of it. Yeah, so in the launcher section, scroll down to Metis. Metis M is a tank DLC's weapon. I assume most of you have it, but if you don't have tanks DLC, the Metis AT-13 can work as well. They've got their differences, but they're basically the same effectiveness, so there's not too much difference about them. The Tanks DLC one is a bit lighter though, so you can think of that if you want to. Grab one of those, grab an extra round if you want to. Just the anti-tank variant of it, the HEAT, and line up on the line, and we'll quickly just use this and make sure everyone's across this, because it's a very cool thing.
Alright, just got back. What are we grabbing?
In Arsenal, just grab a meta stats, and we'll go quickly just make sure everyone's across how to use this thing.
I don't know if the game has any NATO-style wire guided systems. I think they're all Russian, like the medicine, the corner, and thing.
Yeah, there's the turret tow. There's the tow ones you can put on the ground.
Oh, the
That's the only
emplacements.
ones. Yeah, there's no carryable ones I'm aware of.
The single shot one. Yeah, that's the one. The single shot
Oh
one.
yeah, the dragon.
M47
Yeah, forgot about that one.
version, isn't it?
M47 dragon. That's
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a dragon M47 dragon. That's it. I forgot that was Wyguard actually. So yeah, that's a.
I thought that was lock-on.
But same thing.
The more you know.
If it's laser guy, it's basically Wyguarded, semi-active.
It's laser to
sort of thing.
laser to propellant, not laser to target.
Okay. So if everyone aims down sight, the meta system is a thermal system as well. Both variants have the thermals, so that's something good and useful to note as well. Yeah, it's nice, little yellow. Thermals, as an AT man, if you have a weapon that has thermals as well, utilize those whenever possible because thermals are a very good tool to use. You can start using it for your scouting. You can find targets other people might not see. You can see infantry moving across the open or in trees or anything like that because you see thermals, and that's an easier way to see. So if you are using a Titan or a Metis or a Javelin, I always suggest trying to utilize the thermals so you're a better asset to your team beyond just AT. But you got thermals. You don't need thermals to utilize this, but you can use it. Basically, this is a point and shoot system. Whatever you're pointing at, the rocket will go to that target. If you want to change target mid-flight, if you move your reticle, the rocket will change to that position as well. So this will also actively track things as well. So wherever you're pointing, that rocket will follow in flight. So if everyone goes out of their scope for a second, just looks vaguely upwards. If everyone sees where this thing's going, that rocket is actively following my reticle. It's doing loop-de-loops around and whatnot. And then I can point down and it's probably going to go hit some. So I'm actually pointing at a tank. Slightly missed the tank because I was making it go everywhere, but it's actually going where I'm pointing. Everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yep.
So let's have a little bit of fun with it. Have a shot at things. I'm going to quickly put down a bunch of AI to start driving vehicles around and give you a couple problems to look at as well. So
Very quick question.
yeah, go.
Doesn't the wire have a limit? Doesn't it break after a certain point?
It does, but it's not very far. Like it's not usually a problem.
Okie dokie.
To say usually it's further than you can see, so don't be too worried about it.
Isn't it generally like 1.8 kilometers before
Nah,
the
it's further.
snaps?
It's about like 2.5.
Yeah.
It also breaks when it breaks wire. It breaks in the same direction every single time. If you like find the range table for it, you can get really fucking stupid with it. You can hit targets over heels by using the wire break.
Yeah. So I'll put down a few vehicles that are moving out there. Feel free to have a few shots and try and see if you can hit something that's moving, or just stay straight if you want to. Have a bit of fun and practice.
It's not a trick where you fire it.
Oh, yeah.
But I fucked it up.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard way to do it because usually it tries to overcorrect most of the time.
I was
So it's
doing too close. That's
yeah.
why it only works past 500 meters.
I'm getting some weird behavior.
I got hurt for some reason.
Oh.
One thing you'll notice as you use you need to slightly lead further than the actual vehicle because there is a bit of latency. The rocket actually needs to change its flight. So if you lead it slightly ahead of the vehicle, usually it's a more solid hit.
I can just running, crawling across the ground, just crawling away.
I got one.
He's missing his tank. Let me give him one.
I think I tracked that one. He's just spinning on the spot.
I'll walk around if I consider him a tank.
do like using wire guided systems. They're fun.
Yeah, that's bad.
There's a bit more interactability as well.
Okay, I'm getting some weird things, but they are just not going where I point.
There's a couple close ones as well if you want to hit them.
I kind of want to try the other the rockets without a.
We're going to quickly wrap up soon, but I'll leave this open for everyone to have a couple of goes of stuff afterwards. So, yeah. Everyone have another 1 or 2 shots, and then we'll quickly go into the last subject before ending it for the night. Because it's nearly 9:30, so it's about 2 hours and about time to finish.
Okay, for some reason mine are just going completely off spore.
You move it too much, it starts to stagger. Generally, you want to line up the target and then fire rather than try to guard it on. You can, but it's not very. It's finicky.
I am
If you also
staring
move it
at
too fast,
stationary
it'll kick
targets.
If you move it too fast as well, like point away, you'll kick it off the wire.
Yeah.
You'll see.
The rocket carries its inertia and sort of wibbles around a bit.
Yeah, but I've been looking
you'll
at
see it
stationary
when it
targets. I haven't moved it.
It's a skill issue.
So what was the problem you were saying?
What are you aiming through?
It was going off target?
It's just going completely off
Sometimes
target.
you just get unlucky.
It's gone
Usually
off
it's
target all
doing that.
7
Are
times.
you firing through the power lines?
Or through
I'll do it
bushes?
again. Oh, I forgot to reload.
That helps.
That's helpful.
Okay, it's not like there's 7 tanks looking at you.
Okay, I'm not moving it.
That's the wire.
That's odd.
You lost the wire too, which you shouldn't have.
And dropped on the.
I'll go again.
Try with the dragon. The dragon's usually a more reliable weapon.
Have one more shot if you've got it ready. Otherwise, we'll go on to the next thing.
Cool, yeah.
I'll put the clips in after this done.
Do all the Moors rockets for the one of the base game Moors, do they all have the same flight path?
They should, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had
The only
those-
difference, the one you have right now, the only difference is it has a built-in rangefinder.
Yeah, no,
who
because
was,
I'm just
same
wondering,
one?
because sometimes I've used
Kings,
this one
where did
and
that
rockets just
M60
don't
that
go
was
where
driving to the northeast
I
go?
want them.
Probably go hunt you down. I'd suggest.
The one that's chasing the civilian?
No, it went northeast like 3 minutes ago and it hasn't come back.
There's a couple of T-55s frolicking out in the northeast field. I can't see a T-60 out there.
No, an
They're,
M60.
they look about the same. Oh, M60, same thing, yeah. I can't see one out there.
No, do you know what it might be? Whoever it was that was having trouble.
Yeah.
Did you try to use shift stabilize when you were shooting?
Nope.
That might be what it is. Shift stabilize like helps you stabilize. Like when shooting a sniper rifle, if you hold shift, your guy will just lock in, and he just won't move. Literally.
That's what it is.
Sway significantly.
Everyone hold fire now. We'll go on to the next parts. I'm just quickly delete a few things so there's not much of a problem out there.
What?
It's
It's not
Okay,
working.
Lemonade, what's your view distance?
One sec.
Everything is smoking, my god.
Object 2637.
Okay.
Fine then.
Last subject for the night is anti-air. Optional command, but I think we've still got a bit of time, so we may as well cover it. If everyone comes to the arsenal, I'll get you to grab out of its. It is called the FIM 92 Stinger. This is the NATO anti-air launcher. There's also the Igor. That's the similar version of this, but the Russian off-floor variant. The other anti-air thing you also see sometimes is the Titan MPRL. That's a anti-air that works the same way, or the Strel as well. So everyone grab out a Stinger, please.
Can we get a Zeusio real quick as well?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Who was asking for a king? Was it?
Clem.
Clem.
What's happening?
If you stand still, I'll give you one. Go on, fidgety. Okay, cool. So anti-air weapons. Manpool air defense systems, commonly called manpads or MPADs, are shoulder-mounted launched surface-to-air missiles. They are generally guided weapons, well, basically all the time, guided weapons. Sorry, I'll just shut this tank up. Let's come back towards us. Guided weapons and are a threat to low-flying aircraft, especially helicopters. As said, these are the Eagle or the Stinger that we've got here. These weapons. These systems are easy to operate and lock onto airborne targets using infrared or radar locking, but have a relatively shorter range to other AA systems. So you can't quite be locking onto like things 2 kilometers. There's also a minimum range. These can't lock onto anything within about like 100 meters, 200 meters usually. So do remember there is a minimum range to these things. So make sure you're not within that, or if you are within it, you gotta wait a second until it's outside of it. The ideal situation for engaging an airborne threat with an AA weapon is to wait for the target to be flying directly towards you or away from you. This gives the threat a little chance as possible to evade the missile. Similar concept, I was just saying, where it's hard, you have to lead those tanks because there's inertia on the vehicles on the missile. Airborne targets, if they're moving sideways, they have to lead the target harder, and gives the missile a harder time to actually hit the target, and usually leads to more evasions. So if you can try and hit the airborne threats when they're moving towards you or away from you. With that said, we'll do a quick example of how to actually use this. So these weapons, they're dummy lock systems. So it means that they can lock on by you just looking at it. You don't have to hold a lock-on key at all. So for example, we've got this friendly civilian black ghost hawk over here. I'll just get to fly around.
He's running away.
Well, I've got a lock.
Bro's probably shitting himself. He's just hearing like 9 different lock alarms going off.
There's nowhere where backblast is clear.
It's okay. You'll live.
It's also a point to note you don't actually have to be aimed down sight to lock on. It's just much harder to lock on.
Yeah, so you point at it, you'll get a lock on, and once the diamond becomes solid, you've got a lock on, and it's a different tone. Once you've got that, you're able to fire, and you'll be able to hit it. So if everyone wants to have a try, one sec, you'll come back.
You want to back blast someone?
If he's a
So we're
civilian,
all
I
gonna
can't.
launch. We're all gonna
AA is
launch
one
at
of
the
the
same
times
time.
where you can kind of fuck off backblast, because like the helicopter is going to kill the whole section regardless if it's an attack heli.
Yeah, Kings, do you want to get out there, backblast?
Everyone, there's a helicopter up there. Let's destroy it.
I think that was with extreme prejudice.
So yeah, it couldn't really avoid that. It was a slow flying object, so it had very little chance to avoid it. It did try and use its flares, but those flares were pretty ineffective at that close range and that velocity, so it will kill it quite easily. Has anyone got questions about anti-air or these things so far? Because we'll be about to shoot, but sure.
Not really a question, more of like a statement to take into account where the helicopter will land if you hit it. Because I've seen a few times where someone's engaged and it's landed straight on players because they didn't take that into account.
Yeah, they will drop on people, and they don't really care where they drop because you're the one who shot them. So they should be angry at you, not the other way around. So do be careful in case you can predict where it's about to land. If it's got to land on someone's head, try to avoid that as best you can. If there's no other questions, if everyone goes to the arsenal, feel free to grab out another one, and I'll have a bunch of airborne threats for you in a second.
Actually, question: why is there a bit of glass hanging on the left?
Protect your eye from the kickback of the missile.
Yeah, I think it's just some sort of like, just I don't know. It's something about it. It's there. Don't have to worry about it too much.
It's meant to be like a sun visor type thing.
Kick it off a rocket a foot from your face.
From my guess, that's what it's meant to help with. Is
There's probably something smart about it, but we're not very smart people, so you know.
I think it's meant to help with the glare.
So one thing to note about this as well is your backblast isn't a fixed object anymore. It's very much a 3D effect now. So whenever you're about to shoot something, you have to clear a 360 area as well. So you can't just clear behind you. You have to clear around you in case you continue tracking the target and you've accidentally started pointing at your entire team. So do take that into account when you're doing this and have a bit of fun. Go out into the open to do this as well. I'll put the arsenal boxes out in the open so you can have a bit of fun.
Pick the movies.
Enemy air contacts north, coming in fast.
Okay, those guys were a bit close.
Bloody wall. I just thought of something else.
Oh wow, yeah, the javelin does is multi-purpose.
So there should be enough to shoot out there. Have a bit of fun. If anyone isn't able to find something to shoot out there, then you're doing something wrong. I don't know why that A10 is attempting to shoot us. Can someone shoot that down? Because you guys are really pissed off the civvies. They're somehow wanting to fight back, so this is your problem now.
I really another strategy that might be worth going over.
Yes.
Like if you got a helicopter that's gonna flare when you engage it, if you have two people with AA, you get one to fire and then one to fire about 5-10 seconds after. That way the first one gets the flare, the second one misses the flares.
Probably a good practice, but I'm pretty sure AI just like flaring constantly anyway. They've got enough flares on board usually to continuously go. So I'm not sure about that behavior. Yeah, I'm not sure of that behavior, but I'd imagine they just continue flares as much as possible.
Done it effectively in different communities, but that was years ago. I don't know if Lambs would override that though.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine
it is
it would,
a tactic
but
to think about. Most people just assume one flares.
If that's all for tonight, I'm going to jump off.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'll quickly.
Quickly, everyone. Thank you very much for coming along. If you want to head off now, that's the end of the night. So I'll quickly note down who's here.
Ranger.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming along. I'll keep this open for another few minutes if you want to keep shooting at stuff. There'll be more helicopters, planes, whatnot. Or if you want to practice on the basic ones, there's a box behind us that can use as Arsenal. So, but thank you very much for coming along. If you want to leave, feel free to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
One final
everyone.
point before everyone runs off. Be aware, some vehicles have laser detection systems, like the Boxer and some newer of the Russian tanks. So if you point a weapon at them that locks via a laser or specific like locking systems, it will beep to the crew, and the AI will respond to that, will turn and shoot you. So just something to be aware of when fighting. Yeah. Boxer, I don't think we have the one with the guns, so you don't really have to be afraid of it, but that's what those big glowy light things on the front of the Russian tanks are. It picks up IR lasers, and with a press of the button, the crew can just spin the turret to face where the laser's coming from. And the AI does have that capacity as well. Why Russian tanks will just sometimes...
with hat. I will do that.
I feel bad for the AI and
Only
killing
specific
or throwing
weapons,
up there.
like
the dragon.
Yes, like
Yeah.
the dragon, which is
Well,
laser guided.
I assume that's why we have used
No worries, thanks guys.
cable guided.
Laser Desers as well. We'll also do it. We use cable guided actually just because cable guided's easier.
Oh.
Uses less tech. It's why it came out first, because it's literally just fucking like a landline. Landlining a missile to the enemy.
Yeah, it
Oh,
does.
how'd you miss that?
I mean, to be fair, Western submarines also uses cable guided torpedoes.